Good
Best
afternoon.
by July 31st, 2025.
Listen, good afternoon, everyone. We're streaming, and Tyler is showing everybody his pie. Hello, Tyler's pie.
Hi!
Right now, we're
Wow,
just
this is starting to feel like a COVID edition.
not COVID edition. Please, Kevin.
Because everyone was streaming from home, and you were like, yeah, no one was prepared, and it was just like, it was just a train wreck everywhere you turned.
True, 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 true.
We were all just surviving.
We were all doing our best out here. So basically,
Absolutely.
for those people who are just watching, we are starting early so that I can, because trying this new thing where we're doing a different platform because StreamYard is expensive as shit. Like, that's just all there is to it. It's expensive as a motherfucker.
And Discord actually gives better features. Zoom has even better features.
Right, but listen, and eventually we'll probably move to Zoom and after this one, but for now we just got to do what we got to do because it's 2 weeks till the election, and I wanted to make sure we got some things done and said some stuff and did the things that we are supposed to do for the Zoom situation. And with all that being said and also understood, welcome to an episode of Queer and Present Danger. My name is JB. I am here with my two co-hosts. One of them is doing his best. He'll be back when he gets a second. He's handling some business. And I am, and Tyler is making a pie. And because but it's too important for us to not be here doing the things that we're supposed to be doing on today. So welcome. And that's just that on that with that.
God, it feels like 2020 right now. I can just shut up.
I mean, it feels like 2020 every time we do these because we do them from home.
Well, no, but usually we're like we're in our spaces, at our chairs, and our normal studios, if you will.
And yes, normally we would be doing that any other time, but
I'm still prepared. It's all me. I will admit
I
it.
wasn't gonna say someone wasn't home at the time that we normally do the show.
And we will not go into any of those reasons why. Apart from my wonderful little terrors that needed cat litter.
Yes, while we're waiting, why don't you tell them about your new little kitty cats?
So I have two adorable little monsters. Their names are Loki and Sylvie, because obviously I'm a Marvel fan and I'm gay, so...
You know what? That makes sense. You're right. There's nothing else to get out. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Now that I have officially broken JB for the evening. But yeah, they're adorable. They're little tabbies. They might make a debut here momentarily.
They're going to because they don't know how to not move.
It's true.
They don't know how to not be.
True.
One thing that those cats are going to do is be in your way.
Like children back in 2020, whenever you were trying to have conference calls. or film, television.
You know, at any rate. So while we're waiting, why don't we go into? I'm going to go into a little bit of news that broke over the last couple of days, and then we're going to get into our big thing once everybody gets here. Apparently, General John Kelly told us what we already knew, which was that Donald Trump has affectionate feelings for Hitler and the things that he stands for. Like, we knew that. Ones of people were shocked. As always, the Fox News is saying that is trying to spin it into like maybe he just like didn't realize that they were taught that like they were Nazis and he just likes the efficiency of German soldiers or something stupid like that. It's none of my business.
I mean, it's all of our business.
I mean, it is all of our business, but like the fact that they are just going to tell lies, and with impunity, and give us what they give us. I don't know. It's stupid. It's dumb. There was that, and then also the other thing that broke today was a potential cabinet list was leaked, and it was obtained by a couple of news organizations, and guess whose list name is on there? The names of people who are proposed to be in his cabinet are names like Judge Eileen Cannon. Interesting thing about Eileen Cannon, if you don't know, Eileen Cannon is the judge who presided over his Mar-a-Lago trial, who dismissed the case.
That doesn't reek of corruption at all.
It has doesn't have the stench of corruption anywhere near or anywhere on it. I'm not saying...
Yeah, it's completely above board.
It's 100% above board because, of course it is. There's nothing wrong with that at all, So, it's there. Those are things that have happened, that have been breaking, but the John Kelly thing I think is interesting because that means of Donald Trump's cabinet from his first term, 40 of the 44 people who were in his cabinet refused to endorse him.
Imagine that.
Including his vice president. And I saw something the other day where someone tried to spin Mike Pence not being his vice president, his nominee this time is because they had a policy dispute. And I was like, oh yeah, the policy dispute is he tried to get him killed.
And the election.
Yeah. I'm sorry, this is YouTube. He tried to get him unalived. He tried to get him unalived.
The policy dispute was Joe Biden won the election and Donald Trump didn't want to admit it.
Yeah. And so,
and even, the entire Trump family is complicit in that. And that has come out. There's actually I can't remember the name of the person, I have to look it up. She's making a book about Melania. And was mentioning that she was a staffer. And after Donald Trump's tweet about Trump blah blah blah, it's going to be wild. Speaking of January 6th, she said she sent a message to Melania and said, don't you think we need to have we need to say something about, we don't condone violence and blah, blah, blah. And Melania just responded with one word, no.
Yeah. Because
They knew what was up.
they knew what was going on. They knew what was happening. You know what I don't like about doing this on Discord is my we this is 2020. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. We're gonna get it together, guys. Don't worry.
Hopefully we get it right this year. Or left.
That part. But like what I don't like about this camera is it keeps making me blurry and trying to like focus, and I'm gonna need you to figure it out because I need you to do that. You know what? I think I might have something. You know what? I ain't doing all that. It's too much work. Or maybe it isn't too much work. Yeah, it's too much work. Screw it. So while we're sitting here doing this, let's go ahead and start. I want to start with the Oklahoma ballot measures. Since I have you, I looked those up today to see what ballot measures were on. We're on the ballot for this election cycle because I thought it was important that we highlight all of the areas Hold on a second. See, there's too many things going on. Where's I'm looking it up right now. Oklahoma ballot 2024. So this is according to the Oklahomian. Is that's how you say that? The Oklahoman? So for state questions.
Yes, Oklahoman.
Yes. So for state questions, there's question number 834. It's a legislative referendum. And it says that the Oklahoma Constitution, changes the Constitution to say that only citizens of the United States are qualified to vote. This section of the Constitution currently says that all citizens are required to vote, or the citizens are qualified to vote. So basically, what they're doing with this one basically what they're doing with this ballot is changing the word from all are eligible to vote to only. So it's a simple word change, so it really doesn't mean anything. It's just honestly, this is a measure just to get right-wingers to come out to vote. It's
pretty much.
In my personal opinion, it's dumb. Like, you can't in any election be a non-citizen and vote.
Yeah, they tried to. They did a similar situation back in, I think it was 2016, where they put in a vote to amend the Constitution to ensure that the quote unquote Sharia law was not recognized in the state of Oklahoma.
Because
So, they just do these buzzword things and to basically, cater to the right wingers that don't know anything about anything. And sorry, but that's the truth. If the shoe fits or you resemble that, then educate yourself. I'm sorry. There's nothing more I can say.
Read a book. Don't ban a book. Read one. That's
Read banned
read
books.
banned books. I mean, you really should be reading banned books to figure out why they're banned. Um, because there's a reason why someone doesn't want you to read that, and we'll just leave that one right there. Um,
I don't understand how you can be for how you can be for small government control and then pass legislation like this.
because they're not for small government control. Like that's the thing. Like that's what I think is interesting about um, some of the bullshit that they pull, because they say they're for small government control, unless it has to do with queer people living their lives and minding their own business, women living their lives and minding their own business, people of color living their lives and minding their own business. It's literally, I want to do, where we're for free, we're for limited government and small d democracy, unless you fall into a minority category, and then like we want to tell you all of the reasons why you're wrong and why you're never going to be right. And for me, I think that is a don't be hypocrites. When we talk about, especially in terms of anti-LGBT people who find out that they had threesomes. Somebody in that situation was doing some gay shit. Somebody there, and it don't matter how that config. It don't matter how that configuration go.
Or the televangelist
Yeah,
that was sitting and watching people pleasure his wife.
yeah. I mean, that's just that's just how it is. Shout out to, what, I'm going to put this picture of Barack Obama back in the good old days on my screen. Because I don't know if you saw yesterday. This is just a side note. I'm kind of stalling a little bit because we're waiting on Tig to get here. Because I knew he was going to take 17 days. I knew it. But I don't know if you saw yesterday that Barack Obama was at a rally in Detroit in which Eminem was there, and Eminem, I guess, did something, and he then rapped the opening of "Lose Yourself," in his Barack Obama style, which I thought was incredibly endearing.
Barack Obama was rapping.
Yes, Barack Obama was rapping "Lose Yourself," and it was adorable, and the crowd was hype. Like, I want to talk about, just for 1 second, and I promise we're gonna get back to policy and all of that stuff. But I just want to talk about for 1 second, like, the Democrats and Kamala Harris has Eminem, Bruce Springsteen, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, but
The heaviest of the heavy hitters.
yeah, and Donald Trump has Kid Rock and Ted Nugent.
And the very sad Hulk Hogan.
And we don't even talk about Hulk Hogan. We pretend like Hulk Hogan doesn't exist around here.
And then Amber Rose.
And then
that other dude that was with her, whoever he was, some obscure nobody.
And Sexy Red. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh, damn. Sexy Red?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Listen, and I wasn't really that interested in Sexy Red to begin with, because I'm sorry, if you were telling me, if you have to tell me in a song that your booty hole is brown, I'm not interested. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like have zero interest in anything that you have to say. You know what I mean? Like you can't make me want to pay attention to you. You know, don't get me wrong. If the song comes on, I'm gonna dance to it. But I don't care about your opinion on politics. Like I just don't. I don't. Next thing that I wanted to talk about before we get to the thing, because we're about to just go into the policy. We're about to just go into the policy and call it a day. But before I do that, I do want to mention Kamala Harris on Fox News, how she went into the lion's den. And like David, went into the lion's den and bopped that lion on the head. It was beautiful.
I still need to see that. I still need to see that interview. I saw the SNL skit and I loved it.
The SNL skit is not far from what actually happened.
That does not surprise me in the least. I figured it'd be pretty.
It's pretty close to what actually happened. Like it's she, you know, he tried his best to get a gotcha question off. He tried his best to interrupt her. You know, things that I saw people on the right say things like she was aggressive, which meant that she wasn't being, you know, a submissive woman.
Docile.
She wasn't being docile. When she said...
It's like, oh, she was aggressive, but then when Trump is aggressive, you praise it.
You praise it. Right. Like... So yeah, so let's get into...
Did she have, like, leadership characteristics that didn't take shit from people?
The things that you say you like from... The things you say you like from a man, huh? Oh, okay.
She shot from the hip. She was a straight shooter.
Oh, okay. Listen, I need to figure out how to do this without y'all seeing it. But I'll learn. Other than that, leave me alone. At any rate, so let's get into. There's no ballot initiatives in Kansas. Oh wait, there is one more in Oklahoma, but I didn't understand it, so I wasn't going to talk about it.
Oh, what is it?
It is. Let me go find it again.
I'm such a bad person. I've not looked any of the stuff up.
So the ballot initiative is. Move! Hurry up! What is happening?
But I mean, yes, we canvassed and yes, we did bust. So. What else is there?
So State Question 833 is a legislative referendum, meaning it was put on the ballot by the legislator rather than an initiative petitioned by the citizens. It would add Section 9E to Article 10 to the Oklahoma Constitution, which would permit the creation of public infrastructure districts to provide support, organization, operation, and maintenance of services. I don't know what you're trying to say.
It would allow for cities to establish public infrastructure districts or PIDs within their city limits. Establish a special property tax to fund and maintain infrastructure and amenities within their boundaries. This is from K4, which is the Oklahoma City News. Their article says, and I quote, PIDs would be able to establish a special property tax to fund and maintain infrastructure and amenities within their boundaries. Below, the ballot description of SQ 833 voters will have the option to vote for or against the proposal. Take the following hypothetical scenario. You own a big, empty field you plan to develop and build a neighborhood on. Obviously, the neighborhood will need things like roads, sidewalks, sewer systems, and other public infrastructure to be functional. Additionally, you, the developer, may want to build shared amenities like a pool, golf course, clubhouse to make the neighborhood more attractive to potential home buyers. as it stands right now, the developer typically pays to build these things like roads and other public infrastructure since it's their property, and as well as shared amenities like pools and clubhouses, and less shared casino or Walmart. But typically, once the builder builds them, they cede those things over to the city or maybe a homeowners association to pay to maintain moving forward. But now, assume the big empty field you plan to develop falls within a public infrastructure district. In that case, the developer can still build the public infrastructure and shared amenities without having to pay for them. Instead, the PID could pay to build them and also pay to maintain them moving forward. In other words, tax dollars.
And you would then levy a special tax to pay for them.
And this is gentrification 101.
Yes.
Right here. This is gentrification 101. Because if you go to any of these places where they have PIDs, you will also notice that the price of goods in those areas, the price of rent, the price of food, the price of everything has gone up to cover that property tax because someone's got to pay it.
Preach.
And when you were talking about commercial districts, then you were talking about millions of dollars. And someone's got to pay it.
And I guess they say it ain't gonna be us, so it's gotta be you.
And my stance on this is if you are a commercial property builder, there are already plenty of things that you can get subsidized already. You don't need this. We don't need an extra. In fact, this actually downtown Tulsa. I don't know if it's considered a PID. I have to do more research on that, so I'm not going to say that and misspeak. But I will say that I know for a fact they had to pass a bill to raise the property tax in that district. So basically, like a PID. And if you talk to the businesses that are downtown, yeah, they will, like several of them are like, we had to do this because of the BOK Center, and it was supposed to go on for X number of years, and then it would go away, and I think they renewed it, I don't know. I'm so out of touch, which is, I'm embarrassed. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, things like this are what gentrifies cities.
Yep. I mean, it's that simple.
So I will be voting no on this bill.
And we, here at Queer and Present Danger, say, yeah, we do not endorse this ballot measure. Ding. All right, so let's
do a lot of good. Yes, it is possible to do a lot of good. But you're also not making the people that have the actual money pay for the development.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, they develop houses, etc. But you know, roads and stuff like that, like that's private property.
Yeah. So moving on to Missouri, we've got quite a bit to cover here. So we're just going to start at the beginning. All right, question Amendment 2. The official battle title is the do you want to amend the Missouri Constitution to allow the Missouri Gaming Commission to regulate licensed sports wagering, including online sports betting, gambling boats, professional sports betting, districts, and mobile licenses to sports betting operators? It restricts sports betting to individuals physically located in the state and over the age of 21. It allows license fees prescribed by the Commission and a 10% wagering tax on revenues received by the appropriate received to be appropriated for education after expenses incurred by the commission and required funding of the Compulsive Gambling Prevention Fund, and allow for the General Assembly to enact laws consistent with this amendment. State government entities estimate a one-time cost of $660,000, ongoing annual costs of at least $5.2 million, and initial license-free revenue of $11.75 million. Because the proposal allows for deductions against sports gaming revenues, they estimate an unknown tax revenue ranging from $0 to $28.9 million annually. Local governments estimate unknown revenue. For fair ballot language, which is one of those things I really like about the way that we do things, a yes vote will amend the Missouri Constitution to permit licensed sports wagering and regulated by the Missouri Gaming Commission, and restrict sports betting to individuals physically located in the state and over the age of 21. The amendment includes a 10% wagering tax on revenues received to be appropriated to the Educational Institution of Missouri, and a no vote will not amend the Missouri Constitution regarding licensed regulated sports wagering. If passed, this measure will have no impact on taxes. So, in even plainer language, essentially what this is going to do is allow sports betting in the state of Missouri. They say that this money, the revenue generated, would go to education. I am on the fence about this one, because if it goes to education, sure. My only issue is the last time they did something like this, the money did go to education, but what they did was subtract the amount of what the proposed revenue was going to be to the education bucket in the Missouri budget, so that it would zero out. So it didn't actually increase the education budget amount, the education funding at all. All it did was just make it a wash. And if they do something like that, then no. But if it actually increases the education funding, then I'm all for it. So we rate this one a maybe. You have any thoughts on that? Because you guys have sports betting in Oklahoma, don't you?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And all of ours in Oklahoma is on tribal land.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it's different.
Yeah, but it was talking about online as well.
Yes.
And I did notice, like, there was some. I went through a phase where I was playing solitaire games trying to make money. Newsflash.
You're not gonna make no money. That's not what it's there for.
No, it's not. I spent hours and made like $20.
Yeah.
So, no. I did notice that when I went to Louisiana that the game would not work anymore. And it actually said that I could not access that game in the area. So there are states, and if you look on certain games, it will show the states that are restricted, and so basically Missouri is trying to be one of those.
Right. So, like I said, for this one, use your best judgment.
Tortuga.
Yeah, Tortuga. That's Amendment 3. Do you want to amend the Missouri Constitution to establish the right to make decisions about reproductive health care, including abortion and contraceptives, with any governmental interference of that right presumed invalid? Remove Missouri's ban on abortion. Allow regulation of reproductive health care to improve, maintain the health of the patient. Require the government not to discriminate in government programs, funding, or other activities against persons providing or obtaining reproductive health care, and allow abortion to be restricted or banned after fetal viability, except to protect the life and health of the woman. State government entities estimate no cost or savings, but unknown impact. Local government entities estimate the cost of elite $51,000 annually in reduced tax revenues. Opponents estimate potentially significant loss to state revenue. A yes vote establishes the
passing it? I said by passing it, they lose revenue?
Yeah. Yes. We'll get to that. We'll get there. We're not there yet. A yes vote establishes the constitutional right to make decisions about reproductive health care, including abortion and contraceptives, with any governmental interference of that right presumed invalid. It removes Missouri's ban on abortion, allows the regulation of reproductive health care to improve or maintain the health of the patient, requires the government not to discriminate in government programs, funding, or other activities against persons providing or obtaining reproductive health care, and allows abortion to be restricted or banned after fetal viability to protect the health of the woman. A no vote will continue the statutory prohibition in Missouri. If passed, this measure may reduce local taxes, while the impact to the state taxes is unknown. Okay. So.
Sounds like they're just trying to make up words to get people to think that that allowing abortion is going to cost them money.
Mm-hmm.
Like they threw in some butt words. No, that was a couple years ago. They threw in some buzzwords, just like they're doing here in Oklahoma, that are designed to make people who might be on the fence be like, oh no, we can't do that because that will cost revenue.
Yes.
When that revenue, I'm presuming, is people getting fined and censured and everything else for illegal acts.
Tell
right?
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Interesting.
What's more important to me, though, is what is not in this bill. Because if you were to live in Missouri and happen to be watching TV or seeing billboards or just generally existing in this state, you would think that this bill allows for child transgender reassignment surgery. It does not. You would also think that this amendment would allow for abortions in the 9th month. It does not.
Which is bullshit, because
that's not
after 9 months is term, people.
You would also think that this bill would allow someone to, under the age of 18 to receive an abortion without notifying a parent or guardian. Nowhere in this does it say that.
That's covered under other laws, because a minor cannot enter into a legal binding contract without the consent of an adult. And that happens until you're 18, regardless of what the age of consent is, because age of consent only is consent for sexual activity. It is not the age of consent for being able to sign legal documents. That is 18, that is a federal law.
So you're hearing a lot of misinformation about what this is. What this law actually does is it amends, what this ballot measure actually does is it amends our Constitution to take out I believe our current abortion ban is 6 weeks. And while the odds of me having a baby are negligible, I mean, I'm not going to say never, but I'm going to say negligible. While I don't have a dog in the fight, I do have women in my life who have been faced with all of the things that deal with abortion or pregnancy or all of that. And I am voting yes on this for them because I care about the women in my life.
Most women don't know that they're pregnant until their 6th week.
Yeah. As a matter of fact,
you don't start having morning sickness and all of that. So unless you're like, for lack of better terms, religiously going to the doctor and getting an ultrasound or something to see, and even then, they may be able to see it, and they may not be able to see it. There's, we're talking about, something that's microscopic, but the whole argument comes with like, I want to say it's either 6 or 8 weeks. They get a heartbeat, and then they're a person. But
yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I was very wrong. It is not at 6 weeks. It is a total ban.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. If you care about women in your life, if you give a how do I put it? If you are, unless you like,
if you don't want the government in your business, then get it out of your business.
Thank you. I was going to find a way to say that differently because I
care about the women in your life who gave birth to you or gave some level of connection, and if you give a shit about your mama, maybe have a moment to understand that. Would you like some person popping in government-wise and poking around your sister, your auntie, any single one?
Welcome, Tig.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to join you. Sorry about that. Handling other crises in lives.
I was like, we're not. I was like, we may get through this whole thing, and he may not come back.
I was hearing the fact that actually was there, but
unless they're going to, require vasectomies, then they need to stay out of a woman's body.
Period. Yeah. Period. Point blank. End of story. Again, this, to go back to, if you personally have an objection to abortion, I am not saying that you should not have the ability to not have one. You are free to not have an abortion if you don't want one. If you are a male who has an objection to an abortion, maybe you should make sure you are sleeping with a woman who has the same objection to abortion.
And get a vasectomy.
Until you are ready to have those decisions. And it's funny because there's this concept that like, oh, people don't care about abortion because they're worried about the economy. Those two things are inextricably linked. I need you to understand that if you are a person who is already struggling, having a baby is going to make that inextricably way worse. And for those people,
it's expensive to have a kid.
Yes,
even a fur baby.
They're not even in there.
They just jumped out. Well, I heard her behind me. I heard her clawing on a chair.
And here's the thing.
She was there.
And for those people who are like, well, if you're not ready to have a baby, then don't have sex. Let me tell you.
Just because you can keep it in your pants doesn't mean everybody else can and should and has to.
Right. Just like that is a decision.
It is called freedom.
If you want to listen, ladies, if you want to lay it low and spread it wide all up and down these United States, you should do it. You should, if you want to back that,
all of Dallas.
if you want to back that thing up on anything and everything that you feel deserves to have that thing backed up on, then you should do it. And if you end up pregnant while you are out here living your life and having a hot girl summer, winter, fall, and spring, you should do it. And if you decide, if something happens and you have a baby and you say, you know what, I'm not ready to be a mom right now, because I want to continue living my hot girl summer, winter, fall, and spring, by all means, go do what you need to do. None of that is our business over here. And, if you are a man who let a woman back that thing all the way up on you and do all the things and spread it low and, dip it low and spread it wide from sea to shining sea all over your thing, then you are free to do that. But what you are not free to do is tell that woman who has been spreading it low and busting it wide open for a goon that she cannot go take care of the things that she needs to take care of. You are the one who shot the club up. You need to take some personal responsibility. If you are not ready to have a baby, then you need to get a vasectomy. If you are ready to have a baby, then what you need to do is have a conversation with that woman before you shoot the club up and bust all up in her guts. To say, hey, if a baby happens from this, what is we gonna do? If you're not ready to have that conversation, shut the entire fuck up about what she is doing with her body. Because listen, if you want to ban abortion, fine. Make vasectomies required. That's the game you want to play? We can play that game all day long. But, as I said earlier, what this ballot initiative does not do is allow children to have gender reassignment surgeries willy-nilly. What it does not do is allow
where is that language?
All over the state of Missouri.
No, in the bill.
It's not.
There's zero in the bill, like zero, including hilariously that, because I was listening, that $50,000 expense that they're claiming would be in there. None of that exists. It's the simple fact of it. There's zero wording in the bill that actually says any of that.
So they're just going to blatantly lie and not even cite resources.
Yeah, no, it simply states that people are allowed and able to seek reproductive health care.
That's what it say.
Done.
That's what it says.
That's it.
And I had somebody, I don't remember what I was watching, but they said, it says reproductive health care, so obviously it means transgender reassignment surgery. But before...
To all those that don't know, trans people...
Tell them. Say it. Say it. Tell the truth. Tell them. Because if you don't tell them, I'm going to tell them.
You can't turn gonads into ovaries.
Thank you.
You can't do it. A person who was assigned female at birth can, get the assignment. They would still, unless they were to have tubal ligation or things like that, or have their eggs taken out, any of those kinds of measures, they would still be able to bear a child. It is unlikely because if they're undergoing kind of hormone therapy, then that can change the chemistry and cause sterility and things like that. And same thing on the male side for a female that was assigned male birth. That was actually what I was trying to go through first. Anyway, for a female that was assigned male birth, they're not going to bear a child. They can try all they want.
Like, it don't matter how many times you try to have... Listen, if you are a trans woman, it don't matter how many times you... This is going to be real nasty. And but I want to make it plain for the people in the back. It don't matter how many times somebody shoot your club up and just bust it deep inside.
Front or back.
Front
or both altogether.
or back. It's not going nowhere near an egg.
Yeah.
It might go near an egg McMuffin. It might go near a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. It even might go near a deviled egg. But it ain't going.
I think they could even do IVF treatments. I don't know.
No.
Because
there's nothing.
There's parts aren't there.
There's no uterus.
Essentially, it's just for a gender reassignment, or as the PC term would be gender confirmation surgery. When they are turning that penis inside out, they're basically making a flesh jack.
You ain't have to put it like that. You ain't wrong, but you ain't wrong. But either way. And listen, this is three. I would say two cisgendered men and a non-binary male-presenting individual. Neither of us in this building is going to have a baby. And if we were, it would be... Huh? Would you say?
Said it's the most beautiful baby ever.
I mean, it would be a beautiful baby. Look, I mean, our genes, absolutely. That baby be fine as fuck. At any rate, I'm saying all of that to say, mind your business. Just mind it. Like, so we here at Queer and Present Danger endorse this ballot measure and say vote yes on 3. We're going to move on to the next one. This is Amendment 5 because, of course, the way that these ballot measures they don't make no damn sense. They're not numbered. They're just random. Do you want to amend the Missouri Constitution to allow the Missouri Gaming Commission to issue one additional gambling boat license to operate on the portion of the Osage River from the Missouri River to the Bengal Dam? Require the prescribed location shall include artificial spaces that contain water and are within 500 feet of the 100-year base flood elevation as established by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and require all state revenues derived from the issuance of this gambling boat license shall be appropriated to early childhood literacy programs in public institutions of elementary education. State government...
Basically, do you want a casino?
Yeah, do you want another casino boat? State government entities estimate one-time cost of $763,000, ongoing cost of $2.2 million annually, initial fee revenue of $271,000, ongoing admissions and other fee revenue of $2.1 million annually, and a gaming tax revenue of $14.3 million. Luckily, local government estimates unknown revenue. Listen, I don't live nowhere near the Osage River. I don't even know where the Osage River is. I'm going to keep it real.
It's about halfway between Lake of the Ozarks and Jefferson City.
Okay.
Just a different theory.
I mean, why do they keep doing this? Why can't they just say, do you want to amend the Constitution to allow for riverboats and create a whatever, basically like we have with they're basically like what you have with the ability to get a license for a place and all of that. That would be so much cleaner. You wouldn't have to vote on this shit every single time, and then you wouldn't have to worry about there being unfair advantages or monsters moving in or blah 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 blah. Because as it stands right now, if you're only allowing for one more boat, they already know what casino's going there. I mean, let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, here's how I feel about it. I feel about this one the same way I feel about Amendment 3 or 2. If the money is going where they say it's going and they're not taking money out of the budget to put this money in, then absolutely go for it. I don't give a hot nut fuck. But if you are trying to give us a bait and switch on it, then no. Because
I'm guessing it's Caesar. I'm guessing it's another Caesar.
Yeah, it is a Caesar. It's a Caesar. It's either a Caesar's or a Bally's.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at it, like this is another user best judgment one. I'm not endorsing either way. The two of you can discuss, can say how you feel.
If I was in Missouri, I would vote yes.
Okay.
But that's also because I don't think that gambling should be restricted, period.
I don't either, but I don't. Again, I don't want to pay for it. Like, I don't gamble because I don't like giving my money to people that I'm not getting a good or service from. So I don't. That's just not for me. But at the same time, like I'm not like, oh, let's not do this because it's terrible. I'm just like, whatever.
It's a blue law.
Yeah.
Just like you can't buy a car on Sunday.
So here's
liquor.
I cannot find the information that I want to find in order to give a proper response to this. But one of the things that I heard makes me actually very hesitant about this one. Specifically, and I can reference what you actually said, Tyler, is the fact that this, if they've already said they have the ability, they have this, they already know who they're going to give it to, right? Somebody's getting paid in the back. I mean, somebody's already worked out the logistics of developing this area. Because somebody that's changing like that in politics.
Right.
But the
it's monopolized.
So it has multiple layers to it. So first and foremost, I have nothing against betting. It's a personal choice. I had this discussion with JB earlier. Basically, I don't want you to end up falling into addiction and falling into a place where your family and your health are harmed by gambling. It is a personal choice, though. So if you wish to go and gamble, I'd like to make sure the money goes somewhere positive. It doesn't just end up in some fat cat's fucking back pocket. Perfect segue, meaning for it. Fat cat back pocket is one of the things that I heard about this bill that I don't have proof on at the moment. I was digging for it, so for anybody that does watch this and gets all worked up about it, one of the things that I heard was a group of local people in that area saying that they don't want it, not because it's like this will bring stuff to our area, because by and large it would bring more jobs, more money, more revenue to that area, including helping out like the Ozarks and that area to gain some level of income, which could be very beneficial. Could also bring in all kinds of other problems, but such as the life of commerce. Some of them were saying no because there already apparently has been a proposal from the indigenous people in the area to obtain an expansion to a casino in that area. That instead of doing that, they're going to build something different, new, etc., that would possibly pull away funding from indigenous groups that are currently making money off casinos. Which also, again, if you have a problem with that, you're looking at it from a really shitty angle and misunderstanding the fact that Native Americans are trying to find ways to re-earn the land and money that they lost whenever, colonizers, whatever. So we're not going to get into that argument. We're talking about the election, but just if you get upset that I'm said that there's like, oh, well, those Native Americans are just, I go down a track and get really pissed off. The point is, I need to find more of that information to be able to verify that statement, but it was one of the things that I started trying to look into when I heard about it. So I'm wishy-washy about this. For me, the best I can give it is a maybe, because if that information is in fact true, then this is some big fat cat who wants to come in, make money in the area, and is trying to utilize this amendment in order to bring competition to an area that is already trying to do its own individual growth. So if I can re-verify that information, I'll probably tag it in the comments somewhere. That way people can recognize where it's coming from. But I'm only a maybe on this one because of that possibility.
I'm just going to take a moment and say that we're all sitting in between Tyler's legs.
What?
Yes.
I forget that y'all can see the full thing and I can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess since I missed Amendment 2, I'll just finish my other point of 100% on board with the idea of getting money to America's schools, Missouri schools, because American schools are such shit. As long as they don't do what they did last time, where they took the money and cut the budget down, like you were saying. Like, if you take $200 million, and they're like, hey, we made $200 million out of the collections from gambling. Oh, cool, that was going to the schools, right? Cool, let's take $180 million out of the schools, because then we can say we still increased their budget with this money, but only by $20 million, not $200 million. Like, where did that money go? We are still, like, I actually looked up some of the stats on that.
That's
We are still...
Oh, wait, that's Oklahoma, sorry.
So our... I had it. I literally had it in there. Wait a minute. First off, we get incredible aid from the federal government by compared to other states.
Yeah, but we don't want to talk about that.
Out there.
Where is Warsaw?
In Poland?
We have not increased. In 2010, our budget was 21.3%. 2011, it was 23.1%, and then it went back down to 22.8% of our budget.
Mm-hmm.
Spending, sorry, our budget spending, which, we're using a quarter of our budget. We have other listed at 25%. What the fuck is other?
And listen, and I'm going to say this because I feel like it needs to be said. I'm not a fan of children. I'm just not. But I also don't want these cross goblins to be dumb. And so I'm cool.
We have dumb adults.
So I'm cool with, spend what you got to spend on education. Because I need kids that can conjugate a verb and, know what civics class is, so we don't have to deal with what we're dealing with right now with these dumb adults. So, I'm all for it if that's where it's going. But, so we've got 2 maybes and a yes. There we go. That is a half-hearted approval for these ballot measures. There we go. Okay, so now let's move on to Amendment 6. Child of the Missouri Constitution.
How many amendments do y'all have?
We have 7.
Seven listed 7 amendments, but it's actually only 5 because we are dumb and list them funny. So 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
And then Prop A.
Get 1 and 4.
Yeah, and then Prop A.
They didn't pass.
Yeah. So, Amendment 7 will, or sorry, Amendment 6. Shall the Missouri Constitution be amended to provide that the administration of justice shall include the levying of costs and fees to support salaries and benefits for certain current and former law enforcement personnel. State and local government entities estimate an unknown fiscal impact. A yes vote will amend the Constitution to levy costs and fees to support salaries and benefits for current and former sheriffs, prosecuting attorneys, circuit attorneys, and ensure all Missourians have access to the courts of justice. A no vote will not amend the Constitution to levy costs, fees related to the current or former sheriffs, prosecuting attorneys, and circuit attorneys. No!
Where does it? Because here's the thing. It just says levy costs and fees. Where? How are they going to be levied? What tax or what is going to actually pay for this? And also, why is this being done at a state level and not left up to the locals like it currently is?
So it's it has been reviewed as essentially the state is forcing the cities to increase the amounts that they pay or that they make money, and where they send the money for the police forces to basically get bumps in pay. And so it's basically forcing individual cities to carry instead of like a 20% of your city's budget, they're forcing it to essentially allow for and force the cost of fees in the bureaucracies of each individual city, each individual area, to tack on an extra $15, $20 fee, which is what this would be, and for the court costs to be increased, i.e. making it more detrimental to minority populations and people who are taken to courts who don't have money to pay the court fees and court costs. This was a hard no for me because first off, police are, I'm not a full ACAB, but I am a damn close ACAB. So you have the ability to go and police the first line. The first thing that ever hear from her is like, we're here to serve and protect. What the fuck you are? You are, I wish I could pull up the Dimension 20 quote that Brennan Lee Mulligan makes during one of his things, which summarizes what a police force was, is, and will forever be, which is basically an institution of oppressing people for upper class, upper income people to hold down others. That's my personal opinion. You can have an argument with me about it. You explain to me where the police originally came from, what they are tasked with supposedly doing, and then how they actually focus on areas. And if you bring up crime rates among minorities in any part of the argument, I will walk away from it because you are the dumbest person in the world.
I'll punch you in the face.
That kind of crap.
I'm gonna show you.
You are the dumbest person in the world.
I'm gonna commit a crime.
That kind of language. which according to statistics, apparently is what they think is real.
I mean, I can show you better than I can tell you.
How they moved from being peace officers to law enforcement?
How they moved from being slave catchers.
Thank you.
To being law
Thank you.
enforcement.
Thank you.
But
Thank
to
you.
be
Thank
specific
you.
about where the police originated from, and anyone who wants to argue with me about that, I will find my history books and walk you through the development and how that came about. The police forces, as we know them today, outside of the original Boston Police Department that was created way the fuck back, they originally were brought up for the idea of not specifically slave catchers, but were definitely utilized by the upper echelons of the city to oppress all of the immigration that came in. So I'm not giving them a pass. I'm just saying that wasn't specifically what they were brought in for. Other police forces were flat out started from slave catchers. Just want to put that out there and make sure everyone understands.
But
that's where they came.
It was all the It was all the gen dens and the gen factories that had all those ruffians, and they had to they had to stop the crime.
Yeah, right. That was more like returning what was referred to at the time as property back to the property owners because they were an oppressive force and have been since they were instituted all the way back at the very beginning. But I digress. So my opinion on this amendment is, and we can have a whole Professor Tig fucking on about.
We ain't got no graphics for that today, so just keep it moving.
No, that's fine. That we could have a whole damn thing about that. But what I'm getting back to with this thing is it increases the cost of court, going to court. It increases the fees of going to court. It increases the fees of dealing with anything as far as jurisdiction goes. The money specifically goes to force cities to up their police pay. Cities are specifically able to and allowed to determine what they believe is the best pay for their areas. The outlying suburban areas have proven that they are happy to pay people more and pull more police from the cities in order to draw out more of the officers. Do I think that everyone in the damn country needs more money? Absolutely. Elon Musk doesn't need any more fucking money. But
That's for damn sure.
the citizen does. But this is not something I support because it is going to put an oppressive load onto people who cannot fucking afford it. Fees and court costs only really affect those who can't afford it, which means those people aren't able. And just as a note, does anyone here see anything in this brief description that we provided with the support the salaries and benefits of sheriffs, former sheriffs, prosecuting attorneys, former prosecuting attorneys, circuit attorneys, and former circuit attorneys.
Yeah.
This is also going to pay for pensions for those people. But the real point of
They
this
get
is,
fucked.
did anyone hear the word defense
Nope.
mentioned? Did anyone hear the
No.
word defense? There's no defense attorneys mentioned in this. This is all about putting more people in the prison system.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't say anything about
Yeah.
court-appointed defenders. It says nothing about defense attorneys. None of that stuff. Doesn't say anything about that. It's all prosecution. It's all law enforcement. And then on another note, please give control of the Kansas City Police Department back to Kansas City because the state doesn't need to control a local police department. But that's another issue. We'll get into that at some point. I digress. And I think St. Louis.
Yeah, but no, this is another example of that. This is another example of what the state is trying to do in order to force cities to follow into it. The city of St. Louis has already told them multiple times the various other actions they've tried like this to basically go fuck themselves. Anytime that they litigate, the legislature has tried to do this, the city's been like, yeah, we're not enforcing that. You can't make us enforce that. This would be in the Missouri Constitution, and therefore
So
it's hard for them to actually, damn hard for them to actually push back against. We could ACLU it, we could do all kinds of other shit, but this has to do with money and fees. So obviously, it's not meant to harm anybody.
And fun little facts. Well, it's not really little known, but a lot of these small towns and stuff, the way that they fund their cities and their revenue is through like traffic stops and things like that.
That is a little known fact. We all know that.
So if you are then forcing those, cities that are already underfunded to up the pay for their people, and they can't afford it, then
There'll be more random ass traffic stops and more random ass things to send people to court in order to get the fees to pay for this stuff. It's a terrible slope.
And who do you think is going to be the people who bear the brunt of that?
I have an idea. Is 1 out of 3 people represented currently in this group?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, last time I checked.
do what?
The people who will most likely have to face these fees.
Oh.
1 out of 3 of us will.
Yeah.
You have to be blunt.
Yeah.
This is a targeted thing that is absolutely going to screw the minority populations in the state of Missouri, and it is a damn hard no for me.
Yeah. So we here at Queer President Danger say no to
And
this.
it's probably funded by whatever private institution runs your jails. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure they're lobbying hard for this to pass.
Oh yeah, they are. Although I haven't seen any ads or anything for this, which I think is interesting. That I haven't seen anyone.
Well, that's because this one's going to be one of those ones where they're hoping that enough, because we're a red state.
They figure you just
They're
back
hoping
the
that enough
blue.
Republicans come out, it'll be a back the blue movement, and
Yeah.
it'll just pass. They're not arguing for it, they're not saying anything, because I think they know that if they bring more light to this amendment, it will get more response like what we're talking about. Because we're paying for a pension, we're paying for court fees, but the average citizen won't have to deal with that. It'll just be those crime-ridden areas. Like,
So if somebody wants to clip this and put it on TikTok,
yeah.
Tyler, I'm looking at you.
What?
So if somebody wants to clip this part and put it on TikTok, Tyler, I'm looking at you. All right, we have two more left.
Part of it.
So the next one is, do you want to amend the Missouri law to increase the minimum wage January 1st, 2025 to $13.75 an hour?
No, that's Prop A. That's not Amendment 7.
Oh, sorry. Let's go back. Amendment 7. Shall the Missouri Constitution be amended to make the Constitution consistent with state law by only allowing citizens of the United States to vote, prohibit the ranking of candidates by limiting voters to a single vote per candidate or issue, and require the plurality winner of a political party primary to be the single candidate at a general election. Vote no on this.
Vote.
Professor Tig,
No.
please tell them why you should vote no.
Okay. This is a Professor Tig moment that I could be a little happier about, because to explain to you why this matters in such a major way. So first and foremost,
Sounds like instant runoff voting.
Fuck. Absolutely. Fuck the Secretary of State. No. Fuck the Secretary of State. No. This isn't even. I have a call to the congregation later, but this is a fuck to the Secretary of State, which I don't know the name of.
Jay Ashcroft. He's been cussed out here before.
Ashcroft. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Ashcroft. This isn't a call down to the. This isn't a call down to the congregation. This is just a giant middle finger from me. You go fuck yourself, sir. How dare you manipulate the Missouri people the way that you did with this wording? How dare you? You know that there's so many people in the country right now who are running scared from the idea that you guys have put into their head about immigration and illegal voters. Hey, just a quick note there. Chief. The Secretary of State of Georgia, or the Attorney General of Georgia, a hardline Republican, ran a investigation to illegal non-citizen voting. 8.2 million people were investigated during that thing. He ran through the rolls for 8.2 million people. 20. Those are 2 zeros. Just a single 2-0 were noted. That's less than a thousandth of a percent. It might be less than a 10,000th of a percent. Might be less than 100,000. The point being, it doesn't happen. It does not happen. So stating this citizen voting required. This measure would amend the Missouri Constitution to add language to provide that only citizens of the United States, including occupants of soldiers and sailors' homes over the age of 18 who are residents of the state of the political subdivision in which they offer to vote are entitled to vote at all elections by the people.
We already fucking do that.
We already have that. That is already a law in the entire goddamn country. That is already a fucking thing. You are not allowed to vote unless you are over the age of 18 and a citizen of the United States or a naturalized citizen. Those are the only ways that you can fucking vote in this country. There is no evidence,
Zero fucking evidence.
that has occurred in any election. I think they actually did this, where it was 1980. They found 63. Almost 500 million votes. They found 63 cases that something actually got through. 60 fucking 3. If you think this is a problem, you're an idiot. You're the reason we need better education in this country. You're a fucking idiot, and get your shit together. You make me sad to call myself an American if you're that uneducated and that easily scared.
Clip this as well.
What? land of the free and home of the what? Because you're a fucking coward. Anyway, moving on. The reason, and this is the fun part for Professor Tig, you guys realize that your vote doesn't matter if you don't live in a battleground state, first and foremost. It doesn't matter. But you know how it could matter more, and how we could get out of this terrible two-party system where we're just constantly butting heads? It's called ranked choice voting. And for those that are unaware, essentially how it works, if you go to vote for candidates in an election, you basically say, I want this person, and that's all your vote matters. If that person doesn't win, guess that just sucks. Ranked choice voting allows for you to go to a ballot and basically say, I want this is the person I like the most, I like this person next, I like this person third. Then what happens is, let's say you're you're a constitutional party person. Random thing makes a lower of the numbers, so it's easier for you to deal with. You're a constitutional party person, and you basically say, I want my person to actually have some representation. So they're my first choice. I align with them most directly. Okay, cool. They're your number one vote. Number two vote, you're like, I don't really like a lot of these other people, but I guess if I had to, I'd be okay with the Democrat. And then your third person is like, okay, well, I don't like the Republican, I'll go with the Libertarian because I want to have my individual, freedoms. Okay, cool. Now it goes to the election. The Constitutional Party person gets 10% of the votes. The Libertarian gets 20% of the votes. The Democrat gets 25-30% of the votes. And the Republican gets 30% of the votes. I know those numbers don't add up. We'll just throw them into the other categories. The point that matters is everyone is under that 50% margin, so no one wins. It has to reach 50%, otherwise no one wins. Because of the way it runs off and ranked choice voting occurs, that constitutional person that you supported doesn't get the votes. They were lowest on the totem pole. Their votes get pulled. Then they look at that constitutional person. They say, you voted second for the Democratic person. They're still in the running. We're going to have your vote go to your next favorite person. So you didn't get the person you wanted, but you still get the next best person that you preferred out of that. So instead of your vote not mattering because the constitutional person is now out of the running, you do still have somewhat of a decision because you decided to support the Democrat for the second person. We'll say 8 out of the 10 people go to the Democrat. Democrat gets up to, we'll say, gets up to 38%. The Republican gets to 32% because they got only 2% of those other votes. They go back because no one is 150, so they go up to that person who had 20% of the vote, and it's Libertarians. And because I hate this example, but I'm going to make sure it works for all of you Republicans who might see this in Missouri, they get 17%, or they get 18% of the votes out of that Libertarian Party. Your third person was Libertarian, so it didn't matter. You go down to that. You say your Democrat person, only 2% go to the Democrat. 2% to the Democrat means that they go up to a grand whopping total of 40. The Republican, because of the 18%, goes up to 50%. They broke that margin. They win. But your vote mattered more than it did if you voted just for the constitutional person. Essentially, how ranked choice voting works is you get the best opportunity to still have the person that you would want in an election to get elected. It doesn't matter if it's just red versus blue. You have the ability to properly represent yourself, and if other people properly represent themselves, we can have some more fun with it. Let's say the runoff occurs where you have 22% Republican, 25% Democrat, and 15% Green Party. all the other people fall off, and the numbers all hit 30% or 33 to 35%, somewhere in there. No one gets to 50. You go back and you run the runoff election. The runoff election, you only have those three to pick from. Let's say a bunch of Democrats or a bunch of people that were in the other parties all band together and are like, oh, I originally said I wanted Constitution, communist, whatever parties that exist. They all band together and say, you know what, let's get a fucking Green Party person elected. They rerun the votes, and it goes 38% Republican, 32% Democrat, and whatever the fucking filler is for Green Party. But it gets to like 35% for the Green Party. The Democrat 32% falls off. But if all those people Democrat are there ain't no fucking way we're voting second for a Republican, then every one of those votes goes to the Green Party, and they get to 60-something votes. You just elected a Green Party person and avoided having to vote for a Republican because you had 1, 2, 3, Democrat, Green, Republican. That's how it works, where your voice still matters. This law will make it an amendment in the Constitution to never get that choice. You will only ever get to vote for one fucking person. And this would fall back on, we could make this in the primaries. Let's say you find a moderate Republican, two hardline or harder line Republicans. You're like, well, I really want the moderate Republican. And some of the other people in the Republican group are like, well, I like this hardline guy, but I hate this other hardline guy. So I'll vote second for the moderate. Well, the moderate Republican has a fucking chance to win in a hardline fight. Ranked choice voting allows for the population to properly represent itself in layers rather than just I hope my guy wins. That way you can voice your opinion on a much broader scale.
But to that point, with ranked choice voting, it is imperative that if there is a candidate that you do not win, then do not put them on the ticket. Period. Yeah. Because in that scenario, if say you were like, all right, so these are, I'm going to take these people and I'm going to rank them. I'm going to arrange them in the way from the one I most support to the one I least support. And say you have the Republican as number 6. The very last person, you really don't like Republicans, you don't want a Republican, but you're like, well, if I'm just going to take these people and I'm going to rank them, then if all the other people lose, guess what you're getting?
Yeah. So there's a lot of
only
ways
keep the people that you actually want to win.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can explain ranked choice voting. What it comes down to is ranked choice voting provides us with the best opportunity to get our voices heard and not make it a winner take all specific thing. It has to be enough people have banded together to get this person over a bar. And if that can't happen, then the runoff occurs, and then we try again for who we want. But as a group, as an option, it is much better than our current system, and would provide us with the best opportunity for. I wish I could share my screen and we could see it right now, because I have a little info.
You can.
That would make things better.
There are also ways that it can be manipulated and abused. Just as a caveat.
Form.
Because if you are, if you're not actually taking the second choices, but you're just taking the options of the people, and then you're just putting them into pools, then yeah, it can get dicey real quick. I know this from personal experience, from being in rules committee meetings and being at actual delegate votes.
Yeah, there are
Back when he was a
absolutely
Republican?
ways that things could be. There are absolutely
Yes.
ways where things could get abused and misused when it comes to this. But if you look at if you can see my screen, I don't have our screen pulled up, sorry. But if you can see my screen, and essentially what it looks like is
It doesn't show that you shared your screen.
I see
right
it.
here.
Or
Stop streaming and restart. Here, I'll stop sharing and I'll bring it back.
Oh, I might not be able to do it because I have stream remote turned on. Never mind.
Okay, well, I'll pull it back up. So, if you can see it, Tyler, you see it on the stream or on our Discord?
I see it on our Discord.
Okay.
I don't know what it
Let me
looks
just
like.
pull up our... Let me pull up
Well,
our
Mr.
very
Evans,
what the hell I'm talking about.
No, you can't see. I'm looking at both the stream and this. I can give me a second. Well, I don't want to fool with this because maybe I can turn stream remote off over here.
Well, I'll try to break it down the way that it's on my screen for those. Essentially, if this is using a borough president for how it's referencing it, and it has 4 candidates on there, and it literally has first, second, third, and fourth listed across the columns, and the rows have each of the names of the different candidates. Mark no more than one oval in each column, so you can essentially say, I don't want to mark more than 2. You can do that. But let's say you mark your stuff. Everybody marks their things. I have first is Carlos Cruz, second is Bella Bryce, and these are names that are on there for people who don't know what I'm talking about. And then there's third, I'll take Deepika Doshi, I'm probably butchering that name, sorry. And then fourth is Aaron Abbott. And if one person, it jumps to our next infographic, and if one person breaks the 50% barrier in the first, whatever it's called, first place vote, that person wins outright. They just win. But if that does not occur, then the person with the least votes is eliminated, and that candidate's voters are moved to whoever their second choice were, and that gets redistributed across the other 3 candidates. Now, if that still doesn't break it over that 50% majority, then it breaks down again, and then the next person, the third lowest person, or the third lowest person out of those 3, gets removed, and those candidates or those people get moved to their second choice, and whoever Aaron Abbott's, and this one was Aaron Abbott, got bumped off, whoever that fourth person was, get bumped to their third choice. Once all of that's redistributed out, whoever breaks that 50% barrier is the winner. But what it really boils down to is, if you did not like candidate number 2, and you voted for candidate 1, and then candidate 3, and then or candidate 4, and then finally candidate 3, your vote then goes from there down to the second person, and then to the next person. And hell yeah, the person who really didn't want to get elected didn't get elected. It wasn't your first choice, but your third out of 4 did get elected. So you still get an opinion, even if it's not who you wanted. You still get an opinion. That's how ranked choice voting works. And the reason it works is it incentivizes politicians to work for more than just their party. Because if they only care, if a Democrat is only ever going to campaign in a Democrat stronghold, they don't give a flying fuck about anyone in that district who is not a Democrat. They're just going to go pander to their people. But if it's ranked choice, and not everybody loves them, and there's other options out there, they're going to have to try to find a balance between all of the other groups that exist within their community and discuss what their concerns are and care more about what the other people who aren't just the Democrat and Republican opinions are. Like, if you're a Democrat and you know there's Green Party people in your area and it's a Republican stronghold, you can actually have that Republican come fucking talk to you and try to find out what your stuff is, because he's terrified he's going to get voted down because of ranked choice voting. he might not work directly for you, but that means you guys just organize better and get it voted out next time. It's the idea behind it is that you have a better chance of politicians giving a shit about you, simply put, and coming and trying to address your concerns than just pandering to their base and praying they get enough of a voter turnout. That's it. I can go on for hours about ranked choice voting and voting.
Yeah, I was about to stop you. Don't worry.
We're good.
All right, and finally,
I had rage at Ashcroft at the beginning, though. How dare you?
And finally, Prop A, Proposition A. Do you want to amend the Missouri law to increase the minimum wage January 1st, 2025 to $13.75 per hour, increasing $1.25 per hour each year until 2026, in which the minimum wage will be $15 per hour? Adjust the minimum wage based on changes to the Consumer Price Index each January beginning in 2027. Require all employees to provide 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked, and allow the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations to provide oversight and enforcement and exempt governmental entities, political subdivisions, school districts, and education institutions. State government institutes that this will have one-time costs ranging from $0 to $53,000 and ongoing costs from $0 to at least $256,000 per year. By 2027, state and local government tax revenue could change by an unknown amount depending on business decisions. A yes vote will amend it. Yeah, we know that. I said all that again. So, I'm a yes on this because you should just be able to live while you're at work, and you should be able to work for a living and not work to, you should just have a living wage. It's just that simple. And $50 an hour is still not a living wage, but at least it's a step in the right direction. And paid time off is a boon for people who have things like children and lives and the ability have the ability to go do things or get sick.
That was what I was going to reference. I know this thing specifically says sick leave, but people get sick. Providing me with the ability to be able to be sick and not have to come into work is a benefit to every individual person. The fact that I've earned that by working for you is a benefit to me, because I don't feel the pressure of coming into work and wiping out the rest of my workforce because I'm too scared to use up my fucking PTO.
Right.
So I'm 100% on board with this. I think we need to increase it to $20 an hour, but that's just me also wanting people to have what is a living wage nowadays. Even $20 an hour has been proven that's technically not enough. It's actually supposed to be $24 an hour, but we'll get there. The point is, this is a step in the right direction. I don't know how I feel about it excluding certain groups, like the school system. That's its own. I have my own reservation.
I will say that most school districts have a robust sick time leave. I think this is
going to be my fallback. Was I'm pretty sure they have their own rules about that, as well as the government stuff. I'm worried about that.
Right, if you're a government employee and you don't get paid sick time, I don't know what to tell you. You working for the wrong government.
That's its own thing. But $15 an hour, absolute yes. Sick leave, absolute yes. The reservation only come from the idea that they're excluding groups, and I'm like, that offers opportunities for those groups to push back and against that, especially when you consider what's happening in Oklahoma with its education and that douchebag.
That's that's who I was going to cuss out. But we already running longer than we've ever run, so we're going to call people to the congregation right now.
Let's do a quick, because it's been so long, just give a quick rundown of each amendment and whether Queer President Danger is for or against.
Okay,
because Missouri has so many of them.
Yeah, y'all are wow.
So the First Amendment is was Amendment 2. That is the online sports gambling thing. We say do what Queer President Danger says do whatever you want to. It's none of our business.
Our thing with that was, I just want to make sure the money actually goes there and they don't cut the budget again. Just want to say that part out loud. I'm all for it, but make sure the money actually goes to kids and you don't take money from the kids.
Right.
Are they both going to kids?
Yeah, one of them is education in general. The other one is early childhood education.
Oh, okay.
Either way, I don't want dumb I don't want these dumb crotch goblins bothering me. So do what you got to do. Figure it out. Amendment 2 is the right to establish reproductive health care without any government interference. Amendment 3, yeah. That one we are all yes on that, like double yeses. That this is endorsed by Queer and Present Danger. Amendment 5 is the other the gambling boat one.
Gambling boat. Yeah.
Where, you know,
it's a yes from 2 and it's a maybe from me only because I've heard reports that
it's not a yes from me. It's
a
figure your own shit out. It's none of my business. I don't know.
Well, but it's a maybe. Do a little more research, everybody, and try to verify whether or not it's actually encroaching on Native Americans and their own gambling options.
Amendment 6 is the law enforcement, give the law enforcement more money bill. We said no on that. It's a strong ass no. We say no on that one. That's a no.
And to be clear, this is not at least for me, that's not a anti-back the blue thing. That's this would hurt. This would hurt local communities. This would hurt cities,
local communities,
towns. Hurt minorities, hurt.
Yeah, like I said, everybody needs a hard no. But the way that this is designed will not benefit communities. It will hurt them.
Yep.
And I can tell you already that those local communities, they already have city councils and everyone else that votes for, not everyone else, but they have groups of people that vote to increase wages for the police officers and for city employees and things like that.
Right.
That already happens. This is
a red state trying to
too much.
influence on blue.
Yeah.
This is a red state trying to influence blue cities.
Basically, that's what this is. So we say no.
And you would just also so you made the point that battleground states are the ones that matter. Is Missouri considered a battleground state?
No,
God,
we're
no.
10 or 15% to the Republican side right now.
Yeah, it hasn't been a battleground. Missouri hasn't been a battleground state since the election of Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was only really in 2008, and in 2012 we were much closer than we were before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Amendment 7 is the ranked choice one. We've got you've heard the whole thing. We're all no on that.
Yeah, that's a no.
You
will not ban ranked choice voting. Sorry.
There
were more things than that too, besides just the ranked choice.
The other one was the same thing, like you're only citizens.
It was the whole citizens things, but we already have that. That is already a national law and a state law.
Wait, isn't that one of those constitutions that's not in Trump's Bible?
We'll get there. We're not there yet. We'll get there.
Isn't that one of those constitutional amendments that they excluded?
I need a whole fucking episode for that Bible. One episode for it.
And finally, Proposition A is the minimum wage increase. We stand strongly in favor of that. Those are just that is what's on the ballot in Missouri as far as ballot measures. We also hear, obviously,
it's only because it's on there. I don't know what else you got going on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, do your thing. But I have one other thing. It's not a ballot measure, but absolutely vote out both of the Supreme Court justices that are going to be up for renewal. Vote them out. They voted. They ruled against reproductive health. They voted to try to stop Amendment 3. Hilariously, they vote white women. Just want to put that out there.
Okay.
Vote them both out.
Okay.
Get the fuck out.
So yeah. So there we go. I was actually moving into individual races.
Sorry.
The big one here.
Out.
Huh?
I said you left the Oklahoma bill out.
Oh yeah,
Was it SB 833?
833. We said no on that.
No.
We said no on that. That's also another. The only people who can vote in elections are citizens, which that already happens. Stop playing in our
Well,
face.
there's that one, but
And then
then the other one about the gentrification bill.
yeah,
basically.
we voted no on that one because
PIDs.
that's gentrification. So moving
It
on,
doesn't need to be doing PIDs.
right? Moving
You can
on.
do that, fine.
Moving on to the Senate race in there isn't a Senate race or anything in Oklahoma, but in I looked it up. There isn't one there.
Just need to go look, see what my ballot looks like.
In Missouri, there is Josh Hawley versus Lucas Kuntz. We here endorse Lucas Kuntz because at least he's talking about bringing money to the state. Josh Hawley's done nothing but enrich his own pockets. He's also weird, and he should go away.
He's been hanging out with whatever that
Harrison Bunker.
was.
Yeah, they're totally gay for each other. I don't care what anyone says. That's a gay couple looking for a top. I don't know what anyone else has said. That just is what it is. I've said it, and I'm not taking it back, and you can come get me. I don't give a damn. Love you too. Finally, Missouri, in all of your House races, please, vote Democrat down the board because, that's just, please do that. Let's
Please
move.
vote all the way down the ballot.
Yeah, just blue all the way down. So now I want to do something.
That's the only blue you should be backing.
That's the only blue. So now I want to do something, and I'm only going to spend about 5 minutes on this because we're already later than we've ever been.
We've been later.
No, we have been later. The show has never been this late.
We're almost at 2 hours recording.
Yeah, we're at an hour and 46 minutes. At any rate.
Because there was like 30 minutes of stretching.
Sorry.
About that. So, here's the deal. We're 2 weeks out from the election. And I am I have not had anxiety this high since 2016. I've said it before. I said it earlier today, and me and Paul had a heated discussion on it. Where if you are still on the fence or undecided 2 weeks before this particular election, you either have your head in the sand or you are disingenuous. Today, I said it earlier in the show, but today we learned that Trump has said that he wishes that he had the type of loyalty that Hitler had from his German soldiers. That came from General Mark Kelly. Is it Mark Kelly? John Kelly.
John Kelly.
John Kelly. From General John Kelly, who was a 4-star general and was his chief of staff for quite a long time. There's a reason that 40 out of the 44 cabinet people who were in Trump's cabinet during his first term refused to endorse him. There is a reason that his vice president refuses to endorse him. There is a reason that none of the things that we have been saying has changed. And you can say that we all have Trump derangement syndrome. You can say all of these things. But what you can't tell me is that if you're looking at these two people with the platforms that they have and the things that they are saying out of their mouths, that there is any doubt that one would be better for the country. And I'm not going to make the case against Trump, but I want to make the case for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris actually has plans and not concepts of plans. There are things on her website that you can read and get through. She was a former prosecutor. For all of you back the blue people, she is your person. I don't know what it is about this country and their hatred for women, especially women in power. But we saw how the last 4 years of Donald Trump went. We saw the botched COVID. We saw that he was handed a beautiful economy and he ran it into the ground. And you can even see that if you take out the COVID years. You can see what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden did over the 4 years to get us at least back on track. And I understand that it may not read down to your pockets individually. But when you are looking at the economy as a whole, inflation has cooled down, wages are up, unemployment is down, and all of the things that we say what are important to us in terms of the economy, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have taken care of the things that needed to be taken care of. There's the Chips and Science Act. There's the the Inflation Reduction Act. There are all of these things that they put in place that has gotten us where we are. We, as a country, are doing better than every other developed nation in the world after COVID. And you are saying to what you were saying by putting Donald Trump back in office is you want to go back to how things were during COVID. And he has already told you that he is going to be a dictator on day one. Nobody knows what the fuck that means. He is already saying that he wants loyalists. He has picked Judge Eileen Cannon, or there's a list that has come out that Judge Eileen Cannon is on track to be in his cabinet, which reeks of corruption as far as I'm concerned, because that is the judge who dismissed his Mar-a-Lago case. There are all kinds of reasons why you should vote against Donald Trump and also reasons why you should vote for Kamala Harris. And I don't understand why this race is as close as it is. And I will shut up now and let y'all talk.
No, and it's not just that. The idea that all of you sycophants aren't realizing the level of corruption that's occurring with him basically saying that he would put Elon Musk on an energy efficiency board that would basically allow him to essentially moderate and manage his own company and allow for him to make more money. Everything that he's doing is buying people. He is attempting to buy his seat in as the president. And the way that he's doing that is just throwing out all of these various things to try to get people to swim over to his side. And fear to get people to hop on board with him. And all it really shows is a lack of intelligence. If you aren't willing and able to do your own independent research and see how very wrong he is for this country.
Or any country.
Any country, but
Except maybe Venezuela.
You don't have to do that. And you're proud of yourself for that too.
Trying to find a specific. Are we also opening this as our quick thing for the congregation?
Speaking of, thank you very much. I was going to call some people to the congregation real fast while you're looking that up. Black Republicans of Philadelphia, please bring your ignorant asses over here because I have some things to say to you dumb motherfuckers. I was watching Alex Wagner yesterday and I had to turn the TV off. I had to get up and walk away. Because some of the dumb shit that came out of y'all's mouths, this person had the nerve, the gall, and the temerity to say that he is an immigrant and he is voting for Donald Trump because he's trying to send the immigrants home because the immigrants that came in after him are more violent and they are making immigrants look bad. Do you know? Do you understand? Do you have any clue that immigrants are less likely to commit crimes in this country than citizens, and the reason for it is if you commit a crime in this country, what they're going to do is send you back where you came from?
Bingo.
Do you understand that immigrants that come to this country are who are coming from asylum and who are coming for any reason, whether you came in through the legal way or you hopped a motherfucking fence, the reason that you are coming is for a better life, which is the reason that your ass came to this country, or your parents came to this country, was so that they could have a better life, because the American dream. And what you are saying is that you don't want a path to citizenship for these people because they are somehow worse than you. You have a presidential candidate that says there's something wrong with their genes. Do you not think that he's talking about your black ass too? You dumb bitch. And then to be like, I don't think that Kamala Harris has the fortitude, and this came from a woman who said, I don't think that Kamala Harris has the strength. Some things you just gotta let a man do, and I don't think she could stand up to Putin and to the president of China or any of these. Do you think Donald Trump is going to stand up to any of those people when all they have to do is say, Donald Trump, your hair looks nice today, and he'll give them whatever they want? Quit playing in our faces. Read a book. Do the barest minimum of research. Stop getting your talking points from fucking Twitter or X or whatever the fuck he's calling it today. And if you don't think that he bought that so that he could control the narrative of what is happening in this country, so that you could get misinformation fed directly into your veins,
disinformation.
What are you doing? This is what we call voting against your own best interests. You are talking about a man who literally put out a full-page ad in the New York Times in 1979 calling for the death of 4 black teens. And then when it came out that they were exonerated and they had not done it, he refused to go back on it. He refused. And you are telling me that...
But he also rented to everybody without problems.
He did not rent to everybody without problems. Thank you very much. Thank you. I was going there. He has been sued in 1979 because he told his people not to rent to black people. You are telling me that you want this man. This is the man that you want in office. And I don't. Read a book. Stop listening to Sexy Red and Amber Rose and Lil Jon. Well, no, not Lil Jon, because Lil Jon is over here doing what needs to be done, so we won't give him that. And Kanye West and all of those other, do you understand that you will never, and I mean never, have the amount of money that they have? They are not voting for their skin color. They are voting for their fucking pockets. And I'm done. Mm-hmm. Somebody, who else will we call? Call somebody else to the carpet.
Andrew Bailey. You piece of shit. Come on down to the congregation. We can have a conversation.
Sir, you were quoted in your lawsuit trying to get mifepristone, the contraceptive drug, for that is basically what people are allowed to use now since Roe v. Wade has been removed and abortion has been banned in so many states. You were quoted, and I have your actual lawsuit right here. I'm going to quote this so people know. It'll take just a moment. These estimates strikingly do not show evidence of an increase in birth rates to teenagers aged 15 to 19, even in states with long driving distances, despite the fact that women aged 15 to 19 are more responsive to driving distances to abortion facilities than older women. The study thus concludes that one explanation may be that younger women are more likely to navigate online abortion finders or website or ordering mail-order medications to self-manage abortions. This study thus suggests that remote dispensing of abortion drugs by mail, common carrier, and interactive computer service is depressing expected birth rates for teenage mothers in plaintiff states, even if other overall birth rates may have been lower than otherwise was projected. A loss of potential population causes further injuries as well. The state's subsequent diminishing of political representation and loss of federal funds, such as potentially losing a seat in Congress or qualifying for less federal funding if these populations are reduced or their increase diminished. Now that I've read that, to translate it to you idiots who don't understand, Andrew Bailey is basically saying, hey, mifeprestone's preventing teen pregnancies. That's a problem. We need teen pregnancies in the state of Missouri in order to ensure that we get proper representation. Did that man just say, Professor Tig, that people need to, we need to allow for teen pregnancies? Why, yes, it did. This man is basically saying we need teen pregnancies. So, Andrew Bailey,
stupid.
are you arguing that we need teen pregnancies? Are you arguing that teens should carry babies to term when most likely they are unable to afford said pregnancy, or in more cases than you'd probably be willing to admit, they were forced pregnancies due to people doing things because of lack of education? We would go back to that education moment, are forced because they were raped and now are forced to carry a baby to term. Because of your laws, that they aren't able to have the independent ability to find their way, and it's simply because they're more computer savvy. Sir, I have a very simple question for you, because this seems to be a weird focus for you, another wonderfully weird Republican focus. Were you ever friends with Epstein? Because it definitely sounds like you were very interested in teenage pregnancies in a really weird way. So just asking the question because it needs to be asked, why are you so interested in teen pregnancies with mifepristone? This is really weird, sir. Please understand that I do mean that you are a terrifying individual when it comes to how you approach these things. You are basically saying that we need to remove mifepristone so more teens get pregnant. How much of a monster are you? You think that those pregnancies are going to bring more able-bodied working people to the state of Missouri? Those young women will not be able to afford to have those pregnancies. You're telling those children of those pregnancies that a 16-year-old will be able to go out and make a living wage to support that when you aren't even willing to increase the base level support for people who do not make enough money? You are a terrifying and terrible individual. So, sir, recompense yourself with your God, because, well, I might not be a big believer myself. You have a very strange and disturbing view on sanctity of life whenever you're forcing people to carry pregnancies to term and not being able to provide for said children. Your care about children is and has been very well represented. It is only while in the womb that you care about them, and unwilling to care for those kids after they exit the womb. Kindly find your way back into whatever dark hole Satan birthed you from, and leave this congregation.
And fuck all the way off. All of it. The whole thing. Fuck all the way off. Not a piece, not half, not 3/4, not 5/8. All of it.
So I want to know.
3 packs of men in 3. We don't even have to worry about the Redstone anymore.
I want to know which of the private adoption agencies are funding this bill or lobbying for this.
Yeah.
So here's
because there's the money. Follow the money. If you got a bunch of teens that can't have their baby and aren't able to abort it, they're going to be giving those babies up for adoption, and those private adoption agencies are going to swoop right in and give them like next to nothing, and then sell those babies. And what do we call that, people? What do we call that?
I would call it sex trafficking.
I believe, well, not sex trafficking, but human trafficking. That is. By definition, if you cannot buy a baby on eBay anymore, you should not be able to buy one at an adoption agency that's been forced on someone.
Yep. And not to mention the load that it'll put on the foster care system, because if they give them up, they're going to go to the foster care system. Let's be honest.
Well, that's totally fine because that's totally fine because the private institutions will then take that burden off the states and privatize the foster care system, just like they privatized the prison system.
And those have both worked out really well for the American population, just really well.
Read all of the cases where there have been internal investigations into private foster cares. It's horrific. It is absolutely horrific.
All right, y'all. Now,
Fuck you and your baby.
that last one had my blood pressure, had my heart rate way high, so I can't even do no more.
Well, I have one more, but
go ahead.
I sent the file. If you can go ahead and zoom in on the ballot that we have in the wonderful, great state of Oklahoma. I just noticed something really strange.
Okay.
Actually, I might be able to share my screen.
You can't. Well, you can share it, but I can't. We can't see it. But I'm looking. I can see it.
For those that are curious, it's the sample ballot for the state of Oklahoma. If you would like to pull it up so you can read along.
You won't be able to pull it up unless you're registered to vote in Oklahoma.
That's also hilarious.
Yeah.
One ballot of people that should have something on there.
But can we put it on screen?
We can't put it on screen.
Anyone?
No.
We can't put it on
screen.
screen.
On my screen, but no one will be able to see it.
Okay, let me see if I can just... Okay, I'll just turn my camera then. Because this shit is crazy. Okay, Alright, so you got your normal ballot, right? You got straight party, blah, blah, blah. But what's...
Why is there a chicken?
Why is there a chicken for the Democrat? Why is there an eagle for the Republican and a fucking hedgehog for the Libertarians? The fuck? I don't know who put this nonsense on the ballot, but stop it!
Yes.
What the hell? This is a real ballot! This is a real sample ballot! This is what people will actually see when they go and sign about. This isn't a joke. This is not a parody. This is
Oh, okay. I see it. The rooster is on is the Democrat symbol on Oklahoma's ballot. Meaning it was called Stamp the Rooster.
Stamp the rooster?
The rooster, from what I have found, circa 1800 to 1900, is a secret alignment of the suppression of black Americans nationally, Chicago, New York, with just a solo search that only blames Tom Hefner for its use. Democrats deny historical connection, of course. Okay, so back when that would be back when during the Jim Crow, Dixiecrat era, back when the Dems were right wing and the Republicans were left wing. Got it.
Good.
So we're gonna put up an image back from slave times, and mind you, this has never been on the ballot before. I've never once seen any kind of graphics next to the party, and then give Mr. Eagle of Freedom, America, and the Republican, and I guess that's a hedgehog or porcupine. There's got to be some significance there, no clue. But we don't need fucking mascots on our ballots, thank you, fuck all the way off.
I mean, I will say that it's nicer than the one from, what year is this? 1907.
I am deeply disturbed by the fact that there is there's 31 races and 10 ballot measures, or 11 ballot measures on St. Louis's thing.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Jackson counties yet.
And can we talk a little bit about how this looks like a flying donut?
I don't have to do this. Guys, listen. This is the end of the episode because we are already at 2 hours and 10 minutes.
We're already punchy.
And it's 11:19 and I'm tired and I have to get up in the morning, as do everybody on this call. So, we love y'all. Please, and to make sure you vote. Our next episode will be the day after the election, and maybe we'll be pissed. Maybe we'll be good. Maybe we still won't know. Maybe the day after the election is the day that the world ends. We don't know what's going to happen, but we'll be here. We'll have more. We'll be back in our. We'll have some. It'll be more. There'll be graphics and shit and things that we can do. But today we had to just do what we did. We love y'all, and we'll talk to y'all. You know who we are. We ain't even doing all that other stuff. Goodbye. How do you stop streaming?